forward one more year. What were we doing at age of 16? I know, right? I was literally still playing Grand Theft Auto on the PlayStation. So. No, while I was doing that though, our next speaker, instead of playing Grand Theft Auto, or perhaps on top of that, I don't know, was starting his journey in the music industry, and since then has become a staff writer, a artist manager, as well as a photojournalist for a lot of well-known groups and people. So for our last person, last but certainly not least, welcome Rayan Faluji.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all not tired yet, right? Like I'm the last. Yeah, so I'm Rayan Faluji. I'm a freshman at NYU. Manage an artist named Redvale at DMV. I write for Fashion Week Early Music, and I used to be a photojournalist at Hip Hop DX. So yeah, y'all have to count. So I'd say I have a pretty heavy involvement in the music industry. But it wasn't always this way from a young age. So basically my parents, my mom, she's a doctor, my dad's an engineer. So from a young age I didn't really know a career in the music industry was possible. But thanks to my older brother, he took me to my first concert. He introduced me to a lot of different artists, and he bought me my first Google Play subscription, which still pays for my Spotify subscription. But yeah, so he immersed me in music and music culture, and it's all I was passionate about, but I never got into the actual music part where you like play instruments or like sing or any of that. So I just liked like the culture around it and listening to music. But yeah, so sophomore year, going into my junior year, I had decided I wanted to start taking music photos at big festivals, at big concerts, for like A-list artists, like Kanye, like anybody who would have me. But I didn't know how to do that. So I Googled it, and I found some big music photographers, and I reached out to them, and they basically told me the best way to go about it was starting a really small like portfolio of just like your friends who are artists or stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you for your time. And then I kind of ignored that. I had started emailing every single big artist, every single big artist manager, publicist, publication, and I got like no responses because I didn't have anything to show them. But I did get one response, and it was from Justin Cunningham. So Justin is the executive director of Social Works, which is Chance the Rapper's charity. And he had let me start shooting open mics for Social Works. And the first open mic I went to, Cole Bennett was there. And if you don't know who Cole Bennett is, he's like the biggest music video director. He owns a brand called Lyrical Lemonade. And here's a picture of him at the open mic. He runs this festival called Summer Smash in Chicago, and it brings like tens of thousands of people every single year. And he had shown up, and he was giving free tickets out to his festival. So I went up to him, and I'm like, yo, Cole, can I like get a photo pass to this festival? He said, I'll see what I can do, and I'll let you know. And I was, for 2 weeks, super, super hopeful. I was like, oh man, he's about to email me right now that I got the photo pass, I'm all good. But fast forward 2 weeks, it's about a day or two before the festival, and I had not heard back. So I had to take matters in my own hands, and basically I Googled how to sneak into a music festival. And a documentary came up. It's called No Cameras Allowed by Marcus James Haney. And it's this guy who's in a similar situation as me. He wants to shoot music photos, super into music, super into photography, but he didn't have anybody to shoot for. So in the documentary, he basically goes around, acts like super confident with his gear, you know, just knows where he's going. So I'm like, all right, I'll mirror that in the next day. So I go to the festival, I ask the people, I'm like, yo, where's the media entrance? Like I'm media. And they're like, oh, like, okay. So I go to the media entrance, I tell the lady, I show her my pass, and it's like a general admission ticket, but I guess she didn't know. So she let me through, and that weekend was one of the craziest weekends of my life, and it still is. I got pictures of a bunch of artists, and they reposted them and liked them. And I was posting them on my Instagram, and people from high school were like, "Oh my God, like Rain's hanging out with rappers now, like it's too cool for us." But that simply was just not the case. Yeah, so I had some photos for my portfolio finally, but it was only a few photos. Luckily in Chicago, there's 3 music festivals per summer. There's Summer Smash, Lyric Lemonade, and then there's Pitchfork and Lala. So I had decided I was going to sneak into Pitchfork, I was going to sneak into Lala, and get more photos for my portfolio. And I did just that with Pitchfork. You know, same little reactions like, "Oh my God, Rain's so cool." Did the same thing at Lala. But after Lala, I had gotten a response from a publication, and it's called Prime Fortune. It's a really small publication. It's based out of Chicago, but it's super connected to the Chicago music scene. And they had let me start shooting for them. So I spent my weekends and my weekdays 3-4 times a week taking an hour-long train ride to the city of Chicago, and I was pretty much trying to shoot every concert I could. I was emailing every publicist, every manager, but this time I had someone I was shooting for, so I was getting a lot more yeses than nos. And this was what I thought I wanted to do. And a few months go by, and then a big show is coming up. It's a Chance the Rapper show at the United Center. And I reached out and try and get credentials. I did not get a response, and I was bummed out. But if you saw what I did the last 3 times, you know what I'm going to do next. So obviously, I snuck in the United Center. I made a fake media pass. It was crazy. Chance brought out Kanye. I posted pictures of Chance and Kanye, and here are the pictures. They're But this was a really pivotal moment for me because Chance ended up liking the picture. His brother, who's also an artist, DM'd me like trying to work with me. And Def Jam, which is Kanye's label, posted the picture too. So I felt like I was getting somewhere, and I kept shooting. And there's one day in English class, and I remember it very vividly because I did not read the book. So I was checking my email, which was weird because I didn't get like any emails at the time. But there was an email in my inbox, and it was from this lady, and she was basically saying she's been following my pictures, she's been seeing them on the internet and whatever, and she wanted to offer me a position to shoot at Hip Hop DX. And if you don't know Hip Hop DX, it's one of the largest publications in music. So they basically got me into any concert I wanted, any festival, and I basically was living my dream of not having to sneak in anymore and being able to, you know, shoot concerts like, be like credentialed and not get kicked out and stuff. So that's cool. But after this, I felt like I wanted more involvement in the industry. I want to be on the business side because I had met publicists and managers and venue owners, and I was like, I want to be more than just a music photographer. So luckily at the time, I had heard of an artist named Mavi, who's from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he was making a lot of noise in the hip hop scene. So I scoured the internet to find his manager. I had emailed him to intern for him. He said, let's do it. I started just doing really basic tasks. I'd write press releases and reach out to venue owners trying to book Mavi. And it was cool. I was finally like learning some stuff about the industry. And Mavi's manager introduced me to this guy, Matt Albin. And Matt is also from Chicago, and he owns a label called Fashionably Early and also a publication called Fashionably Early. And I had gotten to know Matt, and Matt basically had an encyclopedic knowledge of the music industry because he went to school for music business. So I had talked to Matt, and after a few months went by, I asked him if I could write for Fashionably Early. He said yes. It was really cool. I sent him a bunch of artists that I wanted to write on. He said no. And there was this one artist he let me write on, and that artist is Red Veil. And so I found Red Veil because I was on Twitter, which was like new for me. I wasn't using Twitter before, but he kept coming up on my timeline. And I reached out to him. I showed Matt. Matt said I could write about it, and I had messaged Red Veil, and we started connecting more. And I had learned he was 15. He was making music out of his bedroom. He was mixing it himself, recording it, producing it. And I was super impressed that there was someone else in the music industry at my age, or around my age, following their dreams. And it was super inspiring, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I reached out to Red Veil, and I said, I want to be your manager. And he said, no. But he ended up saying, like, let's do a trial run. So for the next few months, we would FaceTime every day, text every day, and he basically just became like a really close friend. And he was working on this project at that time called Niagara, which was not released yet. And I was helping him like with the marketing and all that, and we finally released it. And I forgot to show y'all. Here's some pictures after we finally met, after like a year knowing each other. Yeah, you know. But yeah, that's us. So he had dropped a project called Niagara, and it was doing pretty well for his size. And I woke up one morning, and I had like 100 notifications, like a bunch of missed calls, a bunch of mixed texts of just him saying like, yo, like wake your ass up, like bro, like this is crazy. And I had not known, but he was trending on Twitter overnight and had gained thousands of followers, and artists like Tyler the Creator were co-signing him, actors like Jonah Hill. Before we knew it, every single major label had reached out, publicists, agents. It was crazy overwhelming, but I was nothing short of elated that something I had put work into for the past year and a half was finally seeing results. And yeah, to this day we're still working together. To this day we're still working together. I'm really excited about the rest of his career. I'm excited about what I'm gonna be doing for feeling like I have like an actual path, like that's attainable, and like just having shit figured out pretty much. But basically, I'm not telling you guys this story to just be like, oh, I did this, this, and this. I have like a few messages I want to leave y'all with, if that's okay. Wait, that's him. That's like him performing stuff. This is like Tyler, and that's like Jonah Hill co-signing, but yeah. Not important. So I have like a few messages I want to leave y'all with. Firstly, I want to say, this is upside down. If there's something you want to do or pursue, there is literally nothing stopping you besides yourself. One day I woke up and I was like, I want to take music photos, and then I want to write, and then I want to manage. And I did those things. I didn't like talk about them, you know? Like I put words into action. Secondly, I want to say you really don't have to have everything figured out. Like life will take you where it needs to. And what I mean by this is basically like, how do I put this? If you don't have everything figured out, like basically like take me for example, I started doing music photos, and 2 years later I'm managing an artist. If you like something and you're passionate about it, just work on that, be dedicated to it, and life will take you where it needs to, and maybe you'll find a new passion in the industry you love. And thirdly, last but not least, I think creating your own opportunities and not passing up on opportunities is really important. People told me I had to do something one way, and I did it my own way. And I think if you really want to do something and you're just sitting around waiting for an opportunity, the opportunity's not going to come. You got to like do stuff. Like I wanted to be a music photographer, right? And people told me I had to build up photos and then take it to a publication. And I was like, no, I'm going to sneak in. I'm not necessarily saying you have to sneak in to like be successful, but there's not one way to do something you want. There's no cookie cutter pattern. And then saying yes to an opportunity. If I had not replied to Justin's email and been like, let's do it, I would not be where I am today. It was a whole domino effect. And I think you don't know what opportunity, what phone call, what text, what email, what one person saying yes will do for your life, for your career. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you again to the three speakers that came